Patrick Surtain inks a well-deserved new contract extension, but how long did it take for the Broncos and PS2's team to get it done? Plus, we've got breaking news coming out of Broncos Park by Common Spirit. Let's go.
Taking you through your morning headlines, it's Denver Sports Daily with Rachel V. Hill.
We will start with the breaking news coming out just moments ago because Broncos quarterback Bo Nix is the Broncos' first rookie captain since Floyd, the franchise Little, in 1967. Well-deserved, and it's clearly showing just how excited the guys inside the locker room are about the quarterback. Other captains include Cortland Sutton, who this will be his fourth consecutive year listed as a team captain. You also have Quinn Miners. Remember, he got that big contract extension not long ago as well. Patrick Surtain, we're going to get into him because he also had a big contract extension leaking today. Alex Singleton and Will Lutz. The others are first-time captains with, like I said, Cortland Sutton being named captain for the fourth consecutive year. Okay, how are we feeling about this, Broncos country? Let me know in the comments. Are you excited that Bo Nix is in fact captain for his very first time? Will be taking the field for a regular season game in the NFL come Sunday against the Seattle Seahawks. How you feeling? Cortland Sutton, we're happy about that. He didn't get the big payday like some of the other guys I mentioned, but of course looking for one, so we need a big season out of him. Quinn Miners has proven that he is a big guy in the locker room, but I'm kind of surprised Quinn Miners over, other guys that we've been seeing. McFlinchy, my nickname for him, obviously McGlinchey. I thought he might possibly be a captain, but Quinn Miners takes that nod from the offensive line. PS2, not surprised really. Alex Singleton, Will Lutz as well. So we'll dive into it more on Coffee Break today. I'm very curious, but let me know in the comments your thoughts on Bo Nix being named a captain. All right, like we talked about though, there's been some contract extensions that have been coming out, and no defensive back in NFL history has made more money on a contract than Patrick Surtain II, as the Denver Broncos just signed their star cornerback to a 4-year, $96 million extension that includes $77.5 million guaranteed. That's over 80% of his contract guaranteed. At just 24 years old, Patrick Surtain has established himself as a top cornerback in the NFL. In his 3 years in the league, Surtain has been named to a first-team All-Pro Bowl and two-time Pro Bowler. And the Broncos and Pat Surtain officially began contract negotiations early last week per sources, and the extension was agreed upon late last night. So it took just a little over a week for a record-breaking extension to be agreed upon. We all remember Pat Surtain kind of going on to say, when it happens, it happens. And I was saying, it's a good thing that it's taking longer than anything because, of course, they're going to sign him. They're not going to have him go out in the free market. They're not going to do the franchise tag on him next year. None of that stuff's going to happen. They're going to sign him to the extension. Of course, getting that done, but he just made more and more money while doing so. A very friendly face that many people in Broncos country will know. Justin Simmons goes on to wish him the best of luck, saying, "Yeah, too happy for you, brother." No doubt, with the hands emoji and the goat emoji as well. So excited for him to be able to get that done as well. But like I said, it didn't hurt Patrick Surtain II essentially to wait it out because the most recent defensive back to sign was with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers was Winfield, and he was the highest paid defensive back in the NFL history to that point earlier this offseason. They inked him to a 4-year, $84.1 million deal with $45 million guaranteed. But obviously, to PS2 caliber, Trayvon Diggs was also the next guy in line who got $97 million over 5 years from Dallas last offseason. Really didn't hurt Patrick Surtain to just wait it out a little bit longer to be able to become the top cornerback, set the market, and he's able to do that at 24 years old. It's massive. But here's the thing. Patrick Surtain's getting this money because he's done good work. He's been on the field more than any other NFL cornerback in the last 2 years for 2022 and 2023. 2,115 snaps he's been out there for. The next up, Patrick Peterson, DJ Reed. Those guys are in the mix too, but Patrick Surtain sits at number 1 overall. So congratulations to PS2 on a very, very well-deserved contract extension. All right, Pat Surtain also, though, he's had a big week because he unveiled 2 new STEAM, which is STEAM, which stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, Arts, and Mathematics rooms at George Washington High School and Manual High School school on his off day, which was yesterday. This is part of Patrick Surtain's continuous effort to give back to the Denver community, and essentially he's doing so really nicely. Students were excited to interact with him. He had hundreds of students on his visits to each school, and you can tell just how impactful his presence has been. So exciting stuff for Patrick Surtain. One, he gets paid. Two, he's continuing to be engaged in the community. And three, obviously named a captain today. So big day for PS2 and for Broncos country as well. We'll skip over now to staying in the NFL, but this guy's also no longer kicking in the NFL. Do we remember the lawsuit that involved Jaguars kicker Brandon McManus? Well, he obviously left the Jaguars, then went to the Commanders. They ended up releasing him. Now has not signed with another team, but that court filing, the lawsuit that is being filed against him, was dismissed. And here's why. Don't make it think like this court hearing is never going to happen, because I promise you it sounds like it's going to. But the women accused McManus of sexually assaulting them on the team's overseas trip to London in 2023. A judge granted a motion from McManus's attorney Tuesday saying that the two women's use of Jane Doe 1 and Jane Doe 2 does not meet exceptional case criteria, allowing these women to stay anonymous. Essentially, they go on to say fairness requires plaintiffs to be prepared to stand behind their charges publicly in the same way that defendant McManus must openly refute them. The ruling gave the two women 10 days to file an amended complaint using proper name identification, which the attorney for the two women said that they would in fact do. He explains, we anticipated this ruling. To be clear, these women have no intention to run and hide and will comply with the court's order in a timely fashion. We look forward to continuing to pursue this important case. We'll keep you updated on anything that ends up happening with this Brandon McManus case. And then we'll also switch over to the 49ers now, because yesterday, if you tuned into Denver Sports Daily, I told you about the rookie Ricky Parcell, who unfortunately got shot in an attempted murder or an attempted robbery, excuse me. Well, he will, in fact, miss multiple games this season after that robbery attempt in downtown San Francisco. But the 49ers placed him on the non-football injury, so the NFI list, meaning he'll miss a minimum of 4 weeks. And no timeline has been given for his recovery, which could potentially take much, much longer. The 23-year-old was shot in the chest by a teenager attempting to rob him near Union Square, where Parcell had been signing autographs earlier in the day. The teen suspect is in custody, and prosecutors expect to announce charges soon, along with whether or not they will be charged as an adult. Now, while, of course, nothing good has come out of this, Trent Williams does credit Ricky Parcell to inspiring him to end his contract holdout and rejoin the 49ers. The All-Pro tackle agreed to a restructured 3-year, $82 million deal on Tuesday and is eligible to play in Week 1. Williams said that learning about Parcell getting shot over the weekend made him want to be there for the team. He also mentioned that Parcell stood out to him when they were briefly met during OTA. So Trent Williams back with the 49ers, and of course, we wish Parcell a very, very easy and hopefully short recovery time as well. Staying in the NFL, I feel like I'm just saying this. There's so much NFL news coming out on this Wednesday, but the Cleveland Browns Stadium is no more. The team announced a partnership on Tuesday that would rename the stadium to Huntington Bank Field, going on to say, we are thrilled to reach a long-term partnership agreement with Ohio's own Huntington Bank. This comes out from the Browns owner, and a new name. You know that the Commanders are also looking for a new name for their stadium. The Broncos, will they continue to stick with Empower Field if they build a new one? There's so much going on with the names for all of these stadiums. But yes, in case you will be listening come Sunday, you will not be hearing the Cleveland Browns Stadium anymore. You will, in fact, be hearing Huntington Bank Field. So some good stuff there. But you guys, we got to talk about some college football. To Boulder we go. Let's go. So the Colorado Buffs received one top 25 vote in the new AP poll released on Tuesday. Now, technically, that would make Colorado number 46 in the country after 20 other teams fell in the receiving votes category outside of the top 25. But the Buffs were the only program to get just one vote in there, meaning a single voter put them in at number 25 on his or her roster. If you would like to know who it's going to be, go check out denversports.com. Will Peterson has an amazing article up there on who we believe has put the Buffs at number 25. So definitely check it out. But the Buffs barely escaped the FCS opponent North Dakota State after a comedy of errors in the final minutes of the game and had a Hail Mary caught by the Bison at the 4-yard line. It would have been 4 yards deeper and essentially TCU would have lost the game 32-31. The Buffs will travel to Lincoln on Saturday night to take on the University of Nebraska in a massive game. Everybody's looking forward to this game. Our very own Jake Shapiro will be out there in Nebraska for this game, so definitely make sure you're following him on social media. But the Cornhuskers received 27 votes in the newest poll, putting them at number 31 in the country. But if CU can go on the road as a touchdown underdog and upset Nebraska, you can bet that they will, in fact, be getting more than one vote next week. We'll see what they're able to do. And then you guys, not this weekend, of course, because they're in Nebraska, but the following weekend, we got the Rocky Mountain Showdown. Cannot wait for that to be happening in FOCO. It's going to be a good one. Let's see if CU goes into that game 2-0 or if they go into it 1-1 and see what happens against Nebraska. Let's move on to the MLB now, because it's always jokes that essentially the Colorado Rockies will be eliminated from the postseason on opening day. It's a common laugh that we all have where we're like, oh yeah, opening day, it's the only day that the Colorado Rockies are relevant. Well, unfortunately, it did become official that they will not be making the postseason on Tuesday as the club dropped to 51-88. The Rockies have all month to get 9 wins. That's all they need, 9 wins, which would save them from their worst season in franchise history, a mark they set last year at 59-103. Unfortunately for the Rockies, who are now officially have nothing to play for, they finished with 7 or fewer wins in a month twice this season and have started September with 2 losses. Overall, the season has nothing short of pathetic as they follow up with their first ever 100-loss season, and unfortunately will also probably be a second one. Here's the thing, though, about the Colorado Rockies that I think a lot of people just can't get behind. This will not only be the 6th straight season without the playoffs for the Rockies, but a half dozen straight years under Bud Black with a .460 win percentage or worse. The last team to keep a skipper around with a record that bad for that long was the Athletics from 1934 to 1943 under Hall of Famer Connie Mack, who did it for 10 straight seasons. So we haven't seen a team stick with a skipper like Bud Black with the record that he has since 1934 to 1943. And man, that feels like a lifetime ago. So it's surprising that they're still doing it. We live in a world where there is constant rotation. You got to win to be able to stick it out. Fortunately, that hasn't happened. And that's why the jokes continue with the Colorado Rockies that on day one, opening day, we say, oh, best day for the Rocky season, because unfortunately, we're not going to see anything better for the rest of it. I feel like I'm hating a little bit on the Rockies, but it's just, I feel like a little frustrating for everybody, right? We want to have some playoff baseball here. We want to be talking about, couldn't they possibly make it? Unfortunately, not the case. I mean, even with the Broncos, and don't get me wrong, I know it's a much shorter season, but there were even times at the beginning of December last year, it was like, well, if this happens, and this happens, then they could possibly make the playoffs. And there's that little bit of hope for you. But unfortunately for the Rockies, we don't even get close to that. Like I said, 51-88, their current record today. So just a bit of a bummer. Let's go to the comments. Yes. Best part of the Surtain extension is it doesn't kick in until 2026 when Russ comes off the books and keeps him under contract for the next 6 years. That is indeed such a true thing. And I think, too, that's another reason why they waited so long. It was like, okay, we can hold out a little bit on this contract extension. If you're George Payton, you're like, we can wait till the end of the summer, see whoever else gets paid, and then just automatically go and pay him, because next year, I guarantee it will also go up. The number will just continue to rise. But you got time. You can pay off all of Russ, and then you can pay PS2 that big money like he's getting. 80% of his contract is guaranteed, you guys. Can you believe that? What a great day for Pat Surtain. I wonder what he's going to go do. Like, do you go out to dinner? Do you just say it's normal? I remember talking to Kareem Jackson. He joined us on coffee break one day, and he had just signed his contract extension. Granted, it was for nothing like Patrick Surtain is saying, but I remember asking him, I'm like, when you sign those, do you like go out to dinner? Do you go do something fun, go on vacation? And I just will never forget his face. And he's like, no, not really. Like, it's just kind of, a normal thing. And I'm like $2 million. That's just a normal thing. It's such a different lifestyle. But again, his contract for Pat Surtain, I'm very curious what they would end up doing. Great for PS2 and well-deserved extension. Go Captain Bo. Go Captain Bo. I'm so happy for him, excited for him. And I think it really is showing that the locker room trusts him and respects him. And that is massive for this Broncos team. So I'm excited for him as well. Good morning, Rachel. Go Broncos. Good morning. Thanks for spending a little bit of time with me. The best thing about this deal is we shouldn't hear all the trade speculations anymore. He is ours to love for years now. Yes and no. Don't get me wrong. I do think that the Broncos want to keep Patrick Surtain for the long haul, but just because he's inked on a contract extension doesn't mean that in 4 years or whatever, it's not that they couldn't move on for him. So for right now, yes, I believe for the next 2-3 years, and hopefully they just keep winning and we're headed on the right direction and you don't have to trade Pat Surtain to get any picks. But I agree. For like at least the next 2 to 3 years, no more trade talk on Patrick Surtain. Excited for our Broncos team this season. I'm totally with you. I'm so pumped. I can't wait for Sunday. I was sitting telling my fiance this morning, I literally was like, do we realize that tomorrow we have NFL football and Friday we have NFL football? And on Saturday, CU takes on Nebraska. And then we've got the Broncos game on Sunday. And then on Monday, we have the Manning cast. Like, I'm so ready. The next 5 days are all football. And I'm like, let's go. It's officially here. I cannot wait for it. Let's see. Oh, Nebraska and CSU will beat them unless they get a lot better. Hot take. I love it. We'll see. We're going to see who ends up. I try not to piss off any Buffs fans. Try to always root on my Rams too, but got to keep myself pretty neutral when it comes to this kind of stuff. Before the Rocky Mountain Showdown, I'll show a little bit more, even though I am wearing my green today. But essentially, I am excited. I'm excited to see what CU is actually made out of when they play a very, tough opponent in Nebraska, especially in Nebraska. I'm going to be excited for that one for sure. Didn't expect to see this one on the books. Overvalued contract for an overrated player, not even a top 5 cornerback in Broncos history. Holy smokes. I need to get Andrew Mason on the show to show him this comment to get his thoughts on it. I will definitely keep KW, bring this comment back tomorrow just in case I forget, but I will definitely be bringing this to Andrew Mason because I'm curious his opinion on it. Personally, I don't think overvalued contract for an overrated player. I think it's well deserved. I think, though, he's got to still level up. He's got to continue to be the best and not fall off. So hopefully he's able to do that. Now I can finally buy a new PS2 throwback jersey. Oh, my gosh. First of all, the throwback jerseys are the best one. Everyone's been telling me, they'll be like, are you going to get any jerseys? I haven't bought a jersey since Emmanuel Sanders, and I bought a kid's jersey because I didn't want to buy the really expensive ones. But I haven't had one since Emmanuel Sanders. Once you're working in this on Sundays, I can't really put on jerseys. So just a little bit of a bummer. But also my Bo Nix jersey arrives today. Yes, let me know if it's a throwback jersey or you just went with the normal or orange or white or blue, I guess. Any of them. I'm very, very curious. The contract will look like a bargain in 4 years. That's also probably the case. All right, you guys, come hang out with me. Solo session today on Coffee Break. We're going to be going over some more who we think is going to be leading the Broncos in tackles, interceptions, receiving yards, all of that kind of jazz as we prepare for Sunday when the Broncos take on the Seahawks. I cannot wait. So come hang out with me at 12 p.m. And we will see you guys then. I hope you guys have a wonderful Wednesday, and we'll see you guys at 12. Bye, everybody.